I just think that I've never seen a black person be involved with him and then come out unscathed without being tainted by his bullshit.
DL Hughley just went straight at Steve Harvey, and this time it feels real personal. People have been talking for a while, saying their friendship has been done for longer than anyone first thought. It did not just fall apart overnight, it had tension building behind the scenes, and now everything is spilling out in the open. Word is the first real crack showed up when Steve started getting friendly with Trump, and DL was not rocking with that at all. He even spoke out in public, basically saying he could not believe Steve did not see he was being used. That already had things looking shaky, but that wasn't even the main issue that pushed it over the edge. The bigger problem, according to insiders, is that Steve allegedly made a comment about DL's daughter that crossed a serious line. People close to the situation say it came off disrespectful enough that DL completely cut ties. That was the moment everything changed, and there was no fixing it after that.
My children will openly talk about how much they love me. My granddaughter, show me a picture of you with your family. One, anywhere, of somebody loving you.
Now, DL is clapping back and telling Steve to worry about his own family. Sources are saying Steve allegedly threw shade at DL's parenting and made a remark about his daughter Tyler, suggesting DL did not handle things the right way. For Steve to come at someone else's parenting like that has people looking at him sideways. This is the same Steve Harvey who has been through 2 divorces, while DL Hughley has stayed with the same woman, LaDonna Hughley, since 1986. That is over 4 decades locked in. DL has been honest about messing up in the past, but they worked through it and kept their family strong all these years. That kind of longevity speaks loud on its own. Now, look at the family side of things. DL has a daughter who is part of the LGBTQ+ community, and reports say Steve tried to use that as a jab. That comes off real low when you actually look at how DL handled the situation. His daughter was nervous about opening up to him at first, and DL admitted that hurt him deeply because of how close they are. When she finally shared her truth, DL stood by her fully and made it clear he supported her without hesitation. He didn't try to hide it or play it down. He showed up as a parent in public and private. That says a lot about where he stands. The fact that DL cared that his daughter felt uneasy speaking up shows a level of self-awareness many people avoid. A lot of parents would ignore that kind of moment, but he faced it head on and owned it.
That obviously I had done something that would make her feel she was unsafe. That was hard to take. That I had fomented this idea in her that she wasn't safe talking to me. Like, I'm her best friend.
Here's the part Steve doesn't seem eager to address. DL's daughter is not out here chasing fame or trying to stay in headlines. She's not popping up on blogs every other week. She's married to her longtime partner and living her life quietly, away from all the noise. That alone sets a different tone. Now, compare that to Steve, who is on television daily, giving advice about relationships and telling women how they should carry themselves. That is where things started getting real messy, because DL allegedly shifted the focus back towards Steve's own household. And then Lori's name got pulled into the conversation. People already know she has had a very public dating life, and it has kept folks talking for a while. Steve built a whole brand off giving relationship advice. He wrote, "Act like a lady, think like a man," and built shows around teaching women how to move the right way. Sources say DL was not trying to attack Lori personally, but he was calling out what looked like a double standard. It raises questions when someone is seen as a relationship expert, yet their own family does not reflect that same guidance. That contrast is what really got people paying attention.
Lori Harvey posted this picture on her Instagram. She said, I hope y'all have had so much fun creating false narratives about me for clickbait, because I'm about to have so much fun suing y'all."
So let's break down the timeline, because this is where everything starts lining up. Back in 2016, Lori was linked to Memphis Depay, the Dutch soccer player. By June 2017, they were engaged, and Steve was all in on it. He even went public, calling Memphis a good one and showing full support. It looked like a done deal, wedding talks and all. But that situation did not last long at all. By 2018, the engagement was over, the ring was gone, and Memphis was out of the picture. After that, Trey Songz entered the scene. There was even talk in the music world about it, with Meek Mill mentioning Lori in a lyric, saying he had to fall back because Trey was already involved. Around that same time, rumors started swirling about Lewis Hamilton, the Formula One driver. Some sources claim there was a brief connection after issues in her previous relationship, but nothing was ever confirmed publicly. Then things took a turn into even more complicated territory with the Combs family. Reports claimed Lori was first linked to Justin Combs and later connected to his father, Diddy. What really had people talking was how open it all seemed. Stories circulated that Steve and Marjorie were aware of the situation and still showed support. There were even moments where they were all seen together on trips, with Lori and Diddy showing affection right there at the table, making the situation even harder to ignore. Now, Lori later came out and denied being involved with both the father and son, but technically she never shut down every rumor completely. She just addressed that specific claim, and people were still side-eyeing the situation because the photos were already everywhere.
Because I'm so quiet, there's been so many stories that have been made up about me. Like, I've heard I've dated a father and son before.
Not true?
Absolutely not true.
The Diddy chapter was a whole situation on its own. They were spotted together in Italy, Mexico, and New York, moving real public with it. The age gap had people talking too, since she was 22 and he was 49. And on top of that, Steve and Diddy were said to be cool, which only made everything look even more complicated. But it did not stop there. After that, Lori got linked to Future, who already had a reputation for messy relationships and multiple children with different women. They went public on social media, traveled together, and he was openly showing her off online. Then, just as fast as it started, it ended. Reports said he moved on and things got awkward when he threw a line in a song mentioning Steve, basically saying he wasn't interested anymore.
Yeah, Steve Harvey, one thing I never seen was Steve.
Then came Michael B. Jordan, and this one had people rooting for real. It looked more serious, more stable, and even Steve showed support and built a connection with him. But behind the scenes, it reportedly was not what Lori wanted. Word is she felt boxed in and started seeing him as too predictable, which led to another split. So she ended the relationship and reportedly told Steve to keep his distance from Michael in public. That alone had people raising eyebrows because it showed just how final things really were behind the scenes.
See, I gotta be real careful because Lori, boy, she be in my... I can't make no mistakes. I can't make stuff. I saw one of her exes somewhere at a game somewhere, and I shook his hand. Boy, I can't even touch his no more.
But Lori did not stay single for long. While Michael was still dealing with the breakup, she had already been linked to Damson Idris. That is where things start getting wild again, because new rumors are now claiming she might already be done with him too. And the reason being thrown around is that he's too nice. That part has people really questioning what is going on. To be clear, none of that has been officially confirmed. Still, people started connecting dots after Damson was seen out with another woman, a 21-year-old model named Avari Lanai. On top of that, there are reports saying Avari followed several of Damson's close friends on Instagram around mid-April. That could mean nothing at all, or it could be a sign of something bigger happening behind the scenes. And now, Lori seems fed up with all the talk. She recently posted on her Instagram story calling out the rumors and warning people to stop spreading false narratives. She wrote, "I hope you all have had so much fun creating false narratives about me for clickbait because I'm about to have so much fun suing y'all." Many believe she was responding directly to the too nice claims. But look, those photos of Damson with the other women had people talking immediately, and the comment sections went off. A lot of folks were quick to push back on Lori, basically saying you cannot just sue people for reacting to what they see. Sure, anyone can file a lawsuit, but actually winning is a whole different story. That is where reality checks start kicking in. Some people online seem to think they can take legal action over every rumor or opinion, especially after seeing high-profile cases play out in the media. But not every situation works the same way. There's a big difference between someone spreading harmful, false claims as facts and people simply sharing opinions or gossiping about public moments. That line matters more than people think. At the same time, when you're constantly in the spotlight and sharing parts of your life publicly, people are going to talk. That comes with the territory, whether it's fair or not. You cannot fully control the narratives once everything is out there, and that's something a lot of public figures have to deal with. Now, bringing it back to DL Hughley and Steve, this is where the bigger point comes in. Reports say DL told Steve to focus on his own household, and from a certain angle, that argument starts making sense. Not because of Lori's personal choices, but because Steve has built a whole image around giving women guidance on relationships, how to act, who to date, and when to take things to the next level. Meanwhile, people are pointing out that Steve's own daughter has had multiple high-profile relationships, including engagements and links to names like Diddy, Future, and Trey Songz. Then there are claims that she walked away from Michael B. Jordan and Damson Idris because they were too boring or too nice. That contrast has a lot of people talking. Now, to be fair, Lori is a grown woman and she can make her own choices when it comes to dating. That is her personal life at the end of the day. But the reason this keeps coming up is because of Steve's public image and the way he speaks on other people's relationships. He has built a reputation around giving advice, even saying that any man who wants to date his daughters has to go through him first. That is a strong stance to take, especially in public. So when things play out the way they have, people are naturally going to react and question it. And that is the exact point DL Hughley was reportedly making. You cannot position yourself as the authority on everyone else's relationships while your own situation is constantly under scrutiny. Now, this whole situation is not just about one comment or one disagreement. It is about a bigger pattern people are starting to notice. Steve has spent years building a brand around giving advice and setting standards, especially when it comes to relationships. But when those same standards get compared to what is happening in his own circle, the conversation shifts fast. That is where the tension really comes from. DL stepping in and calling it out did not come from nowhere. It looks more like built-up frustration finally hitting the surface. When someone feels like lines were crossed, especially involving family, things can escalate quick. And once it goes public, it is not easy to walk any of it back. At this point, people are watching both sides closely, trying to see who is really standing on what they say. Steve has not fully addressed everything being said, and that silence is only making the speculation louder. Meanwhile, DL is not backing down, and it's clear he's standing firm on protecting his family and calling out what he sees as disrespect. This situation also shows how fast things can turn when public figures start speaking on each other. What might have started as private tension is now fully out in the open, with fans and critics adding their own opinions every second. And once that spotlight hits, every past move, every quote, and every old statement gets pulled back up for everyone to judge. And now, the bigger question people keep asking is simple. Where does this even go from here? Because at this point, it is not just a quiet fallout, it is a full public clash, with both sides being picked apart. Every interview, every past clip, every old statement is getting dragged back up and analyzed. That kind of attention does not die down quickly. For Steve, this puts pressure on the image he has built for years. When you position yourself as someone who gives life advice, people expect consistency. The second that looks shaky, the talk starts getting louder and more personal. On the other side, DL is making it clear he is not letting anything slide, especially when it comes to his family being brought into it. Now everything is on pause, but it does not feel over at all. If anything, it feels like one more comment, one more interview, or one more leak could set this off all over again. At the end of the day, this whole situation keeps circling back to one thing: accountability. When you speak on other people's lives as much as Steve has, people are going to expect you to hold that same energy when it comes to your own circle. That is just how it works once you step into that role publicly. DL stepping up the way he did shows he is not interested in playing quiet or keeping things behind closed doors anymore. If he feels disrespected, especially when it involves his family, he is going to address it head on. That shift alone is what has people locked into this situation. And the public is not letting it go either. Every detail, every rumor, every reaction is being watched and debated in real time. This is bigger than just two comedians going back and forth now. It turned into a conversation about image, double standards, and how people move when the spotlight is on them. But now it really comes down to what you think about all of this. Do you believe Steve crossed a line by allegedly making comments about DL's daughter? Or do you think the situation is being blown out of proportion? And what is your honest take on Lori and how she handles her relationships, especially with everything that keeps surfacing in public? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is not slowing down anytime soon. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with anyone who needs to hear it. Stay locked in for the next video.